ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Wednesday Night Jokenet here on the 146895 repeater. I'm the dude who's disguised as a dude who looks like the other dude. Also known as your net control for the evening, KE8PBL. I am located in Denmark Township. Before I go down the list of regular check-ins, is there anybody that needs this repeater for emergency or priority traffic? All right, nothing heard. If anybody needs the repeater for emergency or priority traffic, please break in at any time with break in your call sign. We will concede the repeater for the duration of your emergency. Again, welcome to the Wednesday Night Jokenet here on the 146895 repeater. This is a directed net, and all traffic should go through net control. Everyone with a valid amateur radio license is encouraged to participate. No club affiliation or other things like that are required. This net meets every Wednesday night on this repeater. The purpose of this net is to have fun, making each other laugh, coming up with crazy punchlines for this week's joke. This is a 3-round net, so please stick around or you might miss something. Before we go down the list of regular check-ins, I'm going to say this repeater is owned and operated by Tom, NHCT, and it is available for public use. Obviously, you can reach it via RF, and it has a standard offset, a PL tone of 141.3. If you happen to be connecting via Echolink, the node for that is the node for that is W8IJC-L. Please treat the repeater like it has a 2-minute timeout and allow for clean breaks between transmissions. Other than that, we are good to go, and I might mention that those people listening to us digitally or just huddled around our radios or on scanners, we appreciate you being here too. Let me take a quick break for time. We'll go down the list of regular check-ins. We'll see who else here tonight. All right, we're going to start the top of the list off with KC8 LAR. Jeff, are you with us this evening, sir?
KC8 LAR, present.
All right, right in time for the station ID. How about we reach out to Dan, see if he's connected with us this evening, N8DRL.
N8DRL via Echolink.
All right, Dan, thank you for checking in tonight, even through Echolink. Appreciate that, man. I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully you're taking good care of that leg. All right, let's reach out to Andover and see if Ken is with us, KE8YBN.
K8YV and Andover. We're here. Back to net.
All right, Ken, thank you for being here tonight. Appreciate it. Let's reach out to Wayne, Alpha Charlie 8, Yankee Juliet.
Good evening, Alpha Charlie 8, Yankee Juliet.
All right, Wayne, sounding good tonight. Let's try Dave, K8TIE.
Out, it's about 69 degrees. Good evening, Nemo. Good evening, Net. K8TA, back to net control.
Yeah, the weather's doing pretty good tonight, but the sun is going away really quick. It seems like just a week ago it was sunshiny day out right about now, but I've got sundown pretty much as far as I can tell. All right, we'll keep going down the list. How about Vito Alpha Delta 8 Oscar India?
Alpha Delta 8 Oscar India here, checking in. From
dropping off my granddaughter, and I'll be listening in mobile until I can get on my computer. XYL sitting next to me.
All righty, very good. We'll keep that +1 in mind as we're going down our list of answers and questions and all that. How about Jim, KE8LFR? Well, he might be under a car or playing daddy taxi. He does both of those things quite a bit, but we appreciate it when he checks in. Okay, I know I heard this guy. He sounded loud and clear to me earlier. I didn't talk to him, but I was getting busy shuffling around paperwork, getting things together. How about it, Joe? W8KNO out of Hiram.
W8KNO is here, and you're right. Everyone sounds tremendous tonight, Nemo. W8KNO.
Man, that's about the best I think I've ever heard you sound. Whatever we're doing, needs to keep doing it right there like that. All right, let's try Tom, see if he's still in town. KE8QWG. All right, well, maybe he's back on the road for a few weeks. I know he said he was going to be doing that soon. How about Victor, Echo 6, X-Ray, Tango, Charlie, Bruce, are you with us this evening?
I hope I'm in. Yep, I'm in. Anyway, good evening, everybody. Glad to be on the net. I'm glad I remembered, too, because it's supper time here, so I tend to forget. Anyway, I just got in the mail a roll of 20-strand ribbon cable, which I plan to build an antenna, a tri-band antenna with dipole, which will cover 2, 1.5, and 70 centimeters. So I'm hoping that'll all work out.
W8IJC Link.
There's a good project for you, absolutely. All right, we got a couple other call signs to go through here. We'll try Frank, KE8ZHH. All right, how about Chris, KE8YQL? All right, and this guy checked in last night too, or last week too. How about KE8GJL? All right, nothing heard from those three guys, but we appreciate it when they get a chance to be here. Absolutely. This is KE8PVL with the Wednesday Night Jokenet. Is there anybody I might have missed or anybody who wants to check in? Please call.
Alpha 8, Delta Lima. I'm here. It's been a while, but I'm here tonight.
All right, Drew, we'll put you back on the list. Absolutely, we're happy to have you, man. Good to hear you. Hopefully you recovered well from everything that was going on with you there a few weeks back, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you at the meetings and all that again soon, hopefully. And looking forward to hearing your POTA reports when you get around to them again. All right, anybody else want to check in, please call.
This is Kilo Echo 8 Zulu Victor Oscar /5 in Albuquerque.
Kilo Echo 8 Zulu Victor Oscar. All right, very good, Ruth Ann. We were just talking about you the other day. wondering how you were doing and hoping everything was going smooth for you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Really appreciate that. I'm not familiar with the /5. Does that mean you did something different?
I think it means that you're operating from different areas, and a 5 is the local area. I guess opposed to the 8 for Ohio.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry that I didn't even remember that, but that is something that was. Most people don't do it anymore because you could pretty much pick your call anywhere anymore, so to speak. So because it follows you now, much like your phone number anymore. All right, very good. We'll keep that in mind as we keep on going. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's wonderful to hear your voice out there. Is there anybody else that would like to check in? Please call. All right, nothing heard. I'm going to lock that list in as we have it. Thank you all for being here tonight. Appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get into this week's joke. So this week's joke, how can you learn more about spiders in the rainforest? This week's joke, or moreover, what's the best way to learn about spiders in the rainforest? We'll put it that way. What's the best way to learn about spiders in the rainforest? And we're not going to put the absentees on the hot seat tonight, but we will go out to Joe because he is so clear this evening, and I just can't help it. But W8KNO, Joe, how can you learn more about spiders in the rainforest?
Thank you, Nemo. How can you learn more about spiders in the rainforest? Stay under the web. Or follow their web. That's my idea. So back to you, W8KNO.
All right, very good. I like that answer. Okay, next on the list, we're going over the lake there to our good friend Bruce, Victor Echo 6, X-Ray Tango Charlie. What's the best way to learn about spiders in the rainforest?
There we go. I'm having trouble with Echolink again. I think the best way to learn about spiders in a rainforest is not to be bitten by one.
Absolutely. There's a lot of spiders that, I wouldn't want to get bitten by any of them, but there's a whole bunch I can think of off the top of my head that I wouldn't want to bite me. Even if they weren't poisonous ones, I still wouldn't want them. Those would still hurt. All right, how about it, Drew? Alpha 8 Delta Lima. Welcome back to the net, my friend. And what's the best way to learn about spiders in the rainforest?
Really fair, because I know this one because I used to live in Northwest Washington. There's actually two ways that you can run into spiders and get to know them. One is just going for a walk pretty much anywhere, pretty much any time, and you'll just run into one. And the other method is if you find a water spout, a lot of times you'll find spiders there, but they're usually just itsy-bitsy arachnids. Back to net control.
I feel you there. I used to live up in Northwest Washington also, and man, you could pretty much look up any tree and see it full of spider webs, which really, all the CB guys I knew out there, that's what they would do, is they would climb those pine trees and they would tape their antennas to the top of the pine trees because, they're pretty darn tall compared to our trees here. And man, I don't know how they did it, climbing all that way up and then not getting bit. Brown recluses were the biggest fear out there I can remember. All right, but good answers there. Thank you for that. How about it, Ruth Ann? Great to hear you out there, KE8ZVO. What's the best way to learn about spiders in the rainforest?
Oh, I think that you just look them up on the World Wide Web. KE8ZVO.net.
All right, very good answer tonight. I like that one. We'll move up to the top of the list here. We'll go to Jeff, KC8LAR. What's the best way to learn about spiders in the rainforest?
Oh, that's a very good question, Nemo. Ruth Ann stole my answer, so we'll see if we can come up with another one in a jiffy. Best way to learn about spiders in the rainforest. Study them up close and personal. Go there. We'll go for that. Go to the rainforest. KC8LAR, back to net control.
All right, very good. Been there, done that. Actually, it was fun. I had a great time. All right, we'll move down the list to Dan, N8DRL, joining us via Echolink. Thank you tonight, sir. And what's the best way to learn about spiders in the rainforest?
I can look over a spider web.
All right, very good there. We got another one with web in there. It looks like that one's getting stuck. We'll keep on going though. How about Ken, KE8YBN? What's the best way to learn about spiders in the rainforest?
Oh, gee, I don't know. How about www.rainforestspiders?
Back to net. W8IJC link.
Now you got me wondering if that's a real website or not. I got to go check that out later. All right, how about Wayne, Alpha, Charlie 8, Yankee, Juliet? What's the best way to learn about spiders in the rainforest?
Check them out on the web.
Man, you'd think I was softballing this question tonight, but maybe I guess I just got to pick a harder one next week. All right. K8TIE, Dad, good to have you with us tonight. Appreciate you being on the radio here. What's the best way to learn about spiders in the rainforest?
Yes, well, I would say get yourself onto a repeater that couples to Echolink or something similar, and find the Cleveland site and look up legacy baseball teams, the very first teams in Cleveland. You're sure to find something about them. KTA, back to net control.
All right, very good. Check it out. How about Vito Alpha Delta 8 Oscar India? What's the best way to learn about spiders in the rainforest?
Here, XYL's answer is Ask a Spider Monkey, and mine is just Venmo them a fly and they'll spill all of their secrets. Back to that.
All right, very good. Spider monkeys, those will tell all, especially if you send them a fly. I think you need a Spanish fly for that. Anyway, that's a whole other subject. Sounds like what we're almost talking about there. Man, I didn't get a single stumper tonight. Maybe we got one more person who wants to check in. This is KE8PBL with the Wednesday Night Jokenet. So before I get into the actual answer for this week's joke, is there anybody else who wants to check in? Please call. All right, nothing heard. Man, I got hit out of the park tonight. Absolutely, I got crushed. Everybody, I didn't get a single stumper. So tonight's joke: how can you learn more about spiders in the rainforest? Absolutely, look on their website or go to the World Wide Web. Man, that was too easy. I guess I'm gonna have to come up with a harder one next week. But hey, good answers in there. Appreciate all of you there with that. Let me do a couple quick announcements, and then we'll get into why everybody's really here. All right, with a deep breath, the area's District 10 Ashtabula County Emergency Services training. That is every Monday night at 8 p.m. over on, right here on the 146895 repeater. Negative offset, PL tone of 141.3, and an Echolink node of W8IJC-L. The Ashtabula County Amateur Radio Club's weekly net is every Thursday night at 8 p.m. That would be tomorrow over on the 146715 repeater. Also negative offset, PL tone 141.3, and an Echolink node of N8CT-L. Check in with them over there, and also the Aries group. There's good groups of people in both nets, and they could always use the numbers. All right, the Amigos Radio Club Ashtabula's monthly meeting is coming up this weekend, Saturday the 13th at 6 p.m. is the meeting's regular time, but we're going to be opening the doors a few hours early because we're going to have a Meatloaf contest this week. We've got probably 3 or 4, maybe even more people cooking up meatloafs and bringing them in. So we're going to open the doors by like 3 o'clock so everybody has a chance to sample the meatloaf and vote on the best one. I think there's a prize involved. Can't guarantee exactly what that is, but I'm looking forward to eating some meatloaf because I like meatloaf. That's going to be this Saturday, the second Saturday of the month at 6 p.m. at 3600 Stanhope, Kelloggsville Rd in Jefferson. Meeting is open to the public. Bring a friend and a fork and enjoy some meatloaf. I don't know about sides, but at least there's going to be meatloaf. All right, that's it. That's all the announcements I have. Oh, wait. I have one more announcement that I need to make. Let me break for time. Amigos Radio Club Ashtabula is one step closer to being a thing, a really big thing. We started the process of putting the paperwork through with the state. They approved all our paperwork, so we're just Tuesday, I guess, we're going to be filing with the feds and making it happen. We are officially recognized by the state of Ohio as a nonprofit entity, and moving forward, we're going to be able to do some really great things with that. So big thanks to everybody involved, the entire club, and the 501c3 committee that has been putting the paperwork together and making sure all the I's are crossed and the T's are dotted and all that stuff. So it's been a long time coming, at least a couple of years now that we've been kicking this around and trying to make it happen. So good job, everybody, and we're looking forward to doing some great things in the amateur radio community with that. All right, that's the only other announcement I have. So let me step out of the way, and we'll go down the list and get into why everybody's really here. All right, well, we started with Joe. We're going to keep on going with him. So W8KNO out of Hiram. Joe, thank you for being here tonight. Man, you sound great. What do you got for the group this evening?
Good evening, everyone. This is W8KNO, and what do I have for you tonight? Not much. It's tremendous. I hope the conditions that we have tonight lasts over the weekend for the VHF contest. That's what I'm interested in. And at the same time I'm talking to you, I'm also doing laundry. I got the last load in the dryer now, so probably sometime before the net ends, I'll be folding clothes. So if I don't come running right away, you'll know where I am. With that, again, hello to everyone. Back to you, Nemo, W8KNO.
All right, very good. Yeah, I usually have a load of laundry going in the background too, but that's far enough away that I think the door is closed. And not doing it tonight, though. I did a bunch of other stuff and didn't have time to get that set up. All right, we'll keep on going down the list. How about it? Well, we've got Bruce, Victor Echo 6, X-Ray Tango Charlie. Thank you for joining us tonight, my friend. I had a discussion topic for you this evening specifically, but I can't find the information on it anymore. So when we get into the discussion round, we'll talk about that a little more. Go ahead with your comments.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying this lovely late summer weather. It's been in the mid-80s for over a month, I think now. We haven't had very much rain at all, just a tiny sprinkle, and that's it. So the hay farmers are really having a good crop this year and getting it off and drying it out without having to use natural gas and what they need to do. And of course, I think there's grain farmers as well that are busy getting their crops off, and canola farmers. So it's been a beautiful September thus far. So I just hope it continues right to the end of the month before we get into October and the colder weather and possible snow and all that nastiness. Back to Ned.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that. The Amish guy I work for, he lives down the road. He's also a good friend. We cut out of work early today. Saturday he put hay down so that he could pick it up today, and because the weather's been so nice, he's working on third cutting, which a lot of times he doesn't get a chance to do. So right there with you on that. All right, we'll keep on going. We'll go down to Drew, Alpha 8 Delta Lima. Thank you for joining us tonight, sir. And what do you got for the group?
I guess I'll just tell you guys, I did Ohio State POTA here from home. I usually do pretty decent. I was 5th in the in-home category last year. I did about half as good as last year in terms of points. Or actually, no, I think 35% of my points. But I think pretty much everyone else did about that too. So I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out. Just kind of sad for the country where things are going. I think I can see where things are going, and it's not good. And so it's nice to just kind of, hear everybody's answers and giggle a little bit. Back to that control, Alpha 8 Delta Lima.
Well, Drew, we did miss you out at the club site for POTA, but we're glad you're able to participate from home, and that's part of the reason why I set this net up is because one of the things, and I don't do it very often, but one of my longtime ham friends, when I mentioned that I was going to start this net years ago, said to me was that he's quit doing the net because everything got so gloomy, and it seemed like every week there was a silent key, and he just couldn't take the silent key readings and all the gloomy stuff anymore. So if I can put a smile on your face by running this net once a week, I'm happy to do so, sir, and thank you for being here, because it also puts a smile on my face too when things look dark. All right, appreciate it, man, appreciate it. Speaking of smiles on my face, it's great to hear you out there, Ruth Ann. KE8ZVO, how are things going for you way out west?
Well, enjoying the almost dry weather here. We just had a week of some rain. Apparently, we get 10 inches a year on average, and we just got over 4 different heavy rainstorms. We got a total of less than an inch. So it's been hot and dry and pretty. Friendly people everywhere. I've been having a ball driving around, checking out different things. And so it was a good move, and I'm hoping it continues. I was looking at your chat and saw some of the stuff, discussion for the things you've been doing lately. And that's all I have. Back to you, KE8ZVO.
W8IJC Link.
Well, absolutely. We miss you. Feel free to chime in on the group chat anytime and join the net anytime, because we're always here, or at least I'm always here anyway. And appreciate you checking in and still participating in your old home there. We miss you, that's for sure, and we're glad to hear you're doing okay. The happiest I've heard you sound on the radio in a long time. So something must be going right for you. All right, we're going to move up to the top of the list now. KC8LAR, Jeff, good to have you with us tonight, sir. And what do you got for the group?
All right, good evening, Nemo. Everyone else on the net. Good to hear everybody's voice again, especially you, Drew, and Ruth Ann. Good to hear you're both doing better. I've been taking care of the honeydew list around the house. Took the week off work to get some stuff done, and we're actually getting some stuff accomplished. Finally got all the risers and runners nailed down on the stairs so nobody falls down and breaks their neck, least of all me. And started working on some other projects around the house as well. Did get a rig control working on 7.3 Lennox, so I was excited about that. Stupid stuff that I should have remembered, but took a little bit of beating my head against the wall to figure it out. Good deal there. Other than that, not too much going on. Doing some work here and some work there, and I think I'm going to go back to work next week just to get a rest. With that, we'll pass it back to Net Control. This is KC8LAR.
All right, a vacation from your vacation. Got you there. Oh, good on you for getting the honeydew list together. Me, I'm working on some stuff here too. I just got a load of wood inside for the year, but not enough. I got to really start cranking out the wood here pretty soon, because it's the weather's too close. I've been seeing oak tree leaves on the ground. That's a bad sign if you ask me. All right, we'll go over to Dan, N8DRL. Good to have you with us tonight, sir. What do you got for the group?
A lot going on over here. Just getting kind of done and getting bored with us, getting right up with my leg again. Hey, I've got an appointment tomorrow morning for a second checkup and maybe schedule the next surgery so get this ball rolling and get it over with. So hopefully that happens pretty soon. And I'm going to go back to Net Control. N8DRL.
All right, well, take good care of that leg, and I'll see you tomorrow evening for a little while and check up on you, make sure everything's going okay with you. Last time I saw you, it looked like you were doing okay with it. So remember, let it heal, recover, don't damage it again. All right, we'll go down to Ken, KE8YVN. Good to have you with us out of Andover, sir. What do you got?
guys. Yeah, I got some good news anyways down here on the Pennsylvania side, 285. They got it blocked up finally. The road taken care of, and the ship can make its way between there and down to, I think it's called Mansfield or Hartsfield Road, or intersection of 285. That's where Romar modular homes are, and manufactured homes. But yeah, I got stuck in traffic for almost 10 minutes while I'm night. But it's pretty much taken care of now. They've got quite a bit accomplished. Sure grateful for that. Back to that. P8 by the end.
All right, well, I'm glad to hear they're clearing things up. I wish they would hurry up and finish State Route 7 up this way, because it's getting pretty close. It's like they took a break for the holiday weekend so that everybody could do the mile-long garage sale and all the other events that were taking place, or the 60-mile garage sale, whatever, and all the other events that were taking place up here, and then they stopped. Hopefully they'll figure it out, get back on it here. How about Wayne, Alpha, Charlie 8, Yankee, Juliet? What do you got for the group tonight, sir?
Not too much. I thought the one we had earlier was good, but I'm thinking it just gives you a foundation. It's not great, but it's just a foundation. I think that's with that base for that. But other than that, I've been busy today, running around, did some work in the yard, made dinner, just trying to relax tonight. Back to net control, Alpha Charlie 8, Yankee Juliet.
Well, absolutely, sir. That's what the evening is for. And, man, take it easy when you can. How about K8TIE? Dad, it's great to hear you on the radio this morning. I actually heard you guys on the 9.4 net just the other day, but I was a little out of range, so I didn't bother trying. But good to hear you on the radio. What do you got for the group?
Well, actually, I heard a lot of people were giving all kinds of sour notes and stuff. Forever at all times, where they have quantum entangled subspace communications out, all the hands out to planets 13.8 billion light years away, and there's no delay. I mean, what kind of amateur radio is that? It's just absolutely fabulous. They're enjoying those benefits. We have to wait. KTA, back to net control.
All right, a little bit of QRM in there, but we got the point. And yeah, absolutely, there's some rejoicing that needs to go on there with that. But hey, you know what? On the material side of things, there, if we ever do get that interstellar quantum entanglement thing figured out, it would be really cool. And I would love to be able to talk even to the space station right now, or even farther out. Amusingly enough, that might be our topic this evening, a little bit on some deep space communications. But instantaneous ham radio communications between Earth and another planet would be really, really awesome. And I'm looking forward to that. That's part of sci-fi I'd definitely like to see come true. Some of the other parts of it, maybe not so much. But that would be one really cool thing. All right, let's move down the list here to Vito, Alpha, Delta 8, Oscar, India. Good to have you with us, sir. And what do you got for the group?
Here. First, how's it going, Drew? Ruth Ann, good to hear from you guys. White says hi, Ruth Ann.
Next, kind of feeling similar to Drew. I don't want to have too much to say today. Just so I don't get on a rant and say something I don't want to say over the airs. So, back to net.
All right, very good. Absolutely, I appreciate your comments this evening and every one of you being here tonight. That rounds out the list as I have it. Before we move into the discussion round, this is KE8PVL with the Wednesday Night Jokenet. Is there anybody that would like to check in? Please call. All right, nothing heard. So here's what I was going to talk about, and I was hoping that we could get some light shed on it a little bit, but it would seem that the internet has memory hold this for some reason, and maybe it's just because it's not relevant anymore. But around this time, I think last year, one of our discussion topics was on the Canadian Prime Minister and their version, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but their version of the FCC talking about reenacting an old 1920s thing where they had a listener-only ham license for people who were buying amateur radios that were transceivers, and I don't know what came of that. I know we were talking about that. We did a whole net discussion on that, and I didn't go back through my logs to figure out exactly which one. I just tried to do a quick search on it, and I couldn't find anything on it anymore, even through some of the old ham sites that I was looking at. But I admit I only had about an hour to dig, so I didn't dig probably as far back as I needed to. But I know that we talked about it, and I know I read at least 2 different articles, maybe even 3 on it back then. So I was wondering how that was worked out, but since I'm not finding anything on it, it's hard for me to say. And that's what I was going to ask about Bruce, whether they actually did anything with that. Maybe there's something local you could shed some light on. Victor Echo 6, X-Ray Tango Charlie, did you guys hear about that up there?
Well, that's the first I've heard of it. I never knew there was a listeners-only ham radio license. I know that the radios themselves, just for listening of broadcasts, there was a licensing thing there. In fact, I've got an old Admiral cable radio with a license on its bottom, and it's dated June 1932. So I know that there were general broadcast radio licenses that people had to get, and that was because the government wanted money to fund the CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. And I remember my dad telling me that when the radio inspector would come to town, people would hide their radios and say that they didn't have a radio, they couldn't afford it or something. So that's my memory of it. But as far as an amateur radio only, no. And also on my mom's shortwave radio, there are bands marked out for the amateur bands, like the 40 and 20 and just the 40 and 20, because it doesn't go up to 21 megahertz. Anyway, that's my 2 cents worth.
W8IJC link.
All right, very good. So they must not have taken that very far. I know I read a couple of articles about a year ago, and one of them referred back to exactly what you're talking about with the regular radio license, and they were talking about bringing that forward to now and applying it to the amateur radio community up there. But I guess they tossed that out the window with the bathwater, and I can appreciate the line. I lost all my radios in a boating accident, so there you go. All right, well, thank you for shedding some light on that for me, and I appreciate it. So, hey, the other thing I was going to talk about is, I know I was talking about doing some EME, and we've been talking a little bit about long-range deep space telemetry communications. That kind of ties into what I was going to talk about today, and maybe we can figure out as a team how to make this work. But NASA is seeking volunteers to track the Orion Spacecraft in 2026, and they're looking for people to sign up. They want volunteers to come and help them track the Artemis 2 Orion spacecraft, and sign up time is October 27th. They're looking for people to monitor the frequencies between 2200 and 2290 megahertz on the S band to not transmit, but listen for the Doppler shifts in the S band as it's coming around there. And I just think that would be a really cool thing to kind of set up to try and do, especially for those of us that like to do satellite comms and or trying to experiment in doing some of that stuff. So what are your thoughts on that? And maybe even individually we could participate in it somehow. I don't know exactly how many people they're looking for. I just know it's coming pretty soon. It's going to be passing between the Earth and the Moon this time next year, I think, is what they're saying. So April is what they're saying. It's going to be coming through. So that would be cool to participate in that. And I would scratch the ISS contact off my bucket list if I participated in that. How about that? All right, we'll go right to the list here, and we'll talk about that. Joe, W8KNO, how about it? Some satellite comms and monitoring. What are your thoughts?
Well, good evening again. First of all, you were talking about the interference. The interference that you heard was transmissions from the Portage County repeater. It is also on this frequency, but its tone is 118.8. So that's the difference. But when they're both talking, sometimes it bleeds over, and that's probably what you're hearing. I was more interested in what you were talking about was the license to listen on the radio, and the thing that in Canada you had to have a license to have a general band receiver. I mean, a radio that you listen to. I think it probably went out of business because radio and television took over so much that it would cost too much for someone to go to every single house in the country to see if they had a radio so you could charge them. I think that was counterproductive. And on the satellite thing, I don't have any comments. Back to you, Nemo, KEAPVL, W8KNO.
All right, very good. Yeah, and I believe it was in the 1950s-ish, maybe late 40s-ish that I read that they quit doing that up there in Canada. Maybe Bruce can shine some more light on that. I've been toying with the idea of developing something for telemetry communications here, and I've got some ideas. So anyway, we'll keep on moving down the list here. We'll go over to Bruce, Victor Echo 6, X-Ray Tango Charlie. What are your thoughts? Have you ever done any deep space telemetry work or satellite comms?
Yeah, I don't have the equipment to go up to the 2 gigahertz range, but I have listened to some of the satellites. Like I remember back in the early 90s, I think, there were low Earth orbit telemetry satellites that were just above the 2-meter ham band, around 149.950, somewhere around there. And I remember tuning into those, and that was quite interesting, even though it was just telemetry. But I haven't worked any of the ISS people yet. I did work cosmonaut back in 1988 when he was in the Mir space station. But that's about all I've had as far as experience with satellites or ISS or spaceships, whatever. Anyways, back to Ned.
good. Yeah, I haven't done it yet. I've tried a couple times to get to the space station, but just haven't been able to do that as of yet. And I'm looking into some EME stuff, and then I saw this thing from NASA pop up on my feed, and I thought, man, maybe that's a project that I have to get myself involved with. All right. How about Drew, Alpha 8 Delta Lima? Thank you for joining the group tonight. What are your thoughts, man? Should we maybe help NASA out there?
To listen to kind of whatever might be out there on the airwaves, and I think all that space stuff's pretty cool. As far as one of the coolest things for me is how radio moves at the speed of light, and how fast that really is, and how crazy that is, like to wrap my head around it. And then the space stuff really makes that clear too. Because sometimes there's actually a delay, which you're like, oh wow, it's not like instantaneous, which it seems like. There's that slight delay. I have listened to the repeater, the UHF VHF crossband repeater on the ISS. I can hear people a lot. I've never made a contact that way. Closest thing I've done is have a contact, or not have contact, but at least receive a SSTV, download from the ISS, which is pretty cool in its own right. So that's all I've got right now. Back to net control, Alpha 8 Delta Lima.
And that station ID reminds me that this is KE8PBL, and this is the Wednesday Night Jokenet. Thank you everybody for participating tonight. Hey, absolutely, Drew. I've listened to the repeater up there too. I have yet to make contact through it, but I've definitely tried a couple times. Just didn't work out. All right, how about it, Ruth Ann? K8ZVO. You're right up there. You could do some EME stuff and some satellite work.
KEA video here. Yeah, I haven't scouted out a good spot yet. The whole basin of Albuquerque is surrounded by, more elevation. So it would be interesting to get out and do it with somebody. The other day I was driving home with my daughter from somewhere, and we looked up, and I said, hey, do you see what I see above that house? And it was my first time seeing this person who had a couple of antennas. So I'm anxious to see what they're up to. I haven't found them at home yet. I'm going to have to write them a letter. I don't have as much else to contribute the other way. So that's an at KEA-ZVO.
Well, I would imagine once you pop on the air out there, you're going to find a lot of people right around in your area. And man, I can only imagine that, from what I know about, New Mexico, Arizona, all that area out that way, that you should have line of sight to any place you want to talk to within 1,000 miles, I would think, anyway. So we're hopefully we'll be hearing you on the air on the HF side soon, and I hope you find a good spot to do that with. All right, we'll go up the list here to Jeff, KC8LAR. How about it, man? Let's work some spacecraft.
Good topic. I haven't worked any satellites in probably 20 years. It is a tech. It thrilled the heck out of me. But I was living in an apartment at the time, and my shoulders don't support me handling that arrow with the HT anymore overhead for long periods of time. But all you really need from home is a pair of turnstiles. One for 2 meter and 70 centimeter. There's plenty of LEOs out there, and that will do the job. You don't need a lot of power, and you don't need big rotors. That's a myth. It's nice to have, but if you go on AMSAT's website, you can get all the details on it. What satellites are active currently, and what their uplink and downlink frequencies are. And there's plenty of free programs for tracking them as well, like G-Predict and several others. So don't be shy. Jump in the ring and build an antenna or two. It's relatively cheap, and hey, it's fun. You might learn something. With that, we'll turn it back to Net Control. This is KCLAR.
Absolutely. And as for that shoulder, I think I've got an azimuth tripod laying around here somewhere I could dig up, and we could swing that sucker around as fast as that satellite. All right, how about it, Dan? Any DRL? Your thoughts on maybe doing some tracking of the Orion spacecraft this next year? And a DRL. Dan, are you still with us? All right, maybe he secured his station. I don't blame him. He's probably tired and bored stiff, both. But at least he's recovering, and that's the important thing to all of us here. Wishing him well. All right, we'll keep on going. Ken, KE8YBN. How about it? Are you interested in doing any deep telemetry spacecraft tracking?
Yeah, the T8YVN. I don't think I have the ability to do something like that. Maybe tune them in or something else, but I don't think I'm ready to transmit to them or anything. I just listen anyways, but I think I have to pass on that for sure. Some like more abilities with that, the coverage. Okay, back to that.
W8IJC link.
Well, don't sell yourself short on that one with the right antenna. My understanding is you can hit the ISS with a 5-watt HT. How successful that will be, I don't know, but I think I've definitely seen people on the internet, on YouTube, doing it. I know that you can do it with a 40-watt mobile, very minimum, and do it reliably. So there you go. I'm sure I know a 25-watt will hit it too, if you aim it in the right direction, get it. I think the straight above you is better than on the horizon if you're doing it with low wattage. But if you're doing it with like a medium wattage radio, like a 25 to 40 watt mobile, I believe you can do it horizon based also. So don't knock yourself short. You probably do have the equipment to do it. You just didn't realize how easy it would be. All right, we'll go down to Wayne, Alpha Charlie 8, Yankee Juliet. How about it, man? Are you interested in maybe participating in NASA's Orion spacecraft tracking? Did I say Wayne? Alpha Charlie 8, Yankee Juliet? I might not have. Well, maybe he's relaxed himself into his keyboard there. I don't know, or put his head down on the desk. That's okay. We'll consider his station secure. Thank you, Wayne, for joining us tonight. We'll reach out to Dave, K8TIE. How about it? Orion Spacecraft, Deep Space Telemetry.
Sounds interesting. We did some satellite tracking way back in the 60s when they put up the first amateur radio satellite called Oscar,
and we tracked it and took its orbital characteristics and stuff like that. Of course, we could only receive it. It wasn't a very smart satellite, but it was there. It was carried up with one of the other payloads going into orbit. And so that was fun, but harrowing because we had to put our antenna and azimuth and traction antenna on the roof of Old Main, and that was a tall building and no handrails at the top. So, don't slide off and don't get on the slippery slope. But it was quite an event. We had about 120 feet of coax to get from that antenna down to the shack in the basement. But we still were able to do it, which was fun. So I could go for trying to do the telemetry, space station, and Orion stuff. But I probably don't have the income and available budget to do that very readily. Just not available. Break for time. Yeah, but some of those higher frequencies I could take a lot less room. Unfortunately, the J-pole is omnidirectional horizontally, but not very effective vertically off the top. So I would need a whole different antenna system, and I'm not sure I could take and maybe take and fit multi-gigahertz antennas inside the house with the whole tracking thing, but other things I don't think I could fit. And I still haven't set up HF things here to go take advantage of my general license yet. But I have a number of things going on, and those are ones that I wanted to do. And it does sound like an interesting thing, so keep me informed. KATA, back to KE8, PVL, and Wednesday night, Jokenet.
All right. Well, I don't know that it's going to help you get the satellite stuff, but I do know that I have a radio sitting on my desk with your name on it, and I think we're just waiting to try and figure out what to do for you as far as an antenna goes. I think I'm going to put an antenna making team together and maybe see if we can't get out there before things get too rough in the wintertime here and lay something out for you. So be patient. Like I said, I got a radio here for you. It should work just fine for you, and it's something that you should be able to be familiar with pretty quick, and then we'll try and figure out an antenna for you. All right, we'll keep on going. Oh wait, is that it? Nope. We've got Vito still in the group. Alpha Delta 8 Oscar India. How about it, man? You're interested in tracking the Orion spacecraft?
Yeah, actually, that sounds pretty interesting. Just need a rig to be able to receive that frequency. And yes, I've seen at least one video, I believe it was on YouTube, where you saw somebody communicating with the ISS with a FT65 and just a little whip antenna on it. Back to that.
May I roger that? My understanding is they have like a 7 or so, 6 to 7, maybe even 800-mile range, depending on conditions up there. And so basically, if you can see them in the sky for the 5 minutes that they'll probably be there, you should be able to hit them with just about anything. I know, like I said, a lot of guys I've seen a couple videos on the internet, on YouTube or whatever, where guys just have handhelds and like a 3-element, and they're just holding it up, pointing at it. So definitely can be done. All right. That rounds out the list as I have it. Is there anybody else that would like to check in or anybody that would like to recheck? Please call KE8PVL. Okay, nothing heard. Let me put a bow on it then and thank everybody for being here tonight. Appreciate you guys. Without you, this net couldn't happen. What good conversations we've been having as of late, and I try and keep the topics timely and interesting. So, Tom, I want to reach out to you and say thank you for keeping this repeater on the air and making it available for us every Wednesday night. And everybody else that gets to use it throughout the week and all that. But it's awesome. Thank you again. Appreciate everything you do for the amateur radio community. Those currently serving and retired from service to our country, thank you. Your sacrifices will not be forgotten. This is KE8PVL. I'm going to return the repeater back over to normal amateur radio use, whatever that might be. Be good to each other, everybody. KE8PVL is clear.
Oscar, kill, Emo.